good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this Sulava MEA webinar, the first webinar of the year, but there are many, many more to come. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat. You can ask your questions anytime. This will be quite tight agenda, and we will be going on through what's happening in the agentic AI frontier firm era, and there's quite a lot of information here, but welcome one more time. So I will be starting and telling you a little bit about the company myself, and then of course we have our superstar Serena, who will be telling you about agentic AI in practice. We have Emma, who will be talking about frontier firm live, and our own superstar Vesku will be showing a couple of demos and talking about agentic AI and everything and anything related to that. But without further ado, welcome to this webinar one more time. And we are going to be approaching this topic very broadly. We will be talking a lot about agentic AI. We will be talking a lot about digital employees, about Agent 365, that is the control platform enabling the digital employees. And of course, we talk a lot about our Frontier Firm Live. It's the only subscription service available in the region that will guide you through the process of becoming a Frontier Firm. But my name is Aki Antman. I'm founder of Sulava. I founded the company back in Europe 2010, founded it in the MEA region 2019. I have been a Microsoft partner for quite a long time, actually already 30 years, always working on modern work or whatever it has been ever called. And basically, I still love the technology. I'm a Copilot MVP myself. I love to experiment with AI all the time. And as Bill Gates said, AI woke up back in like 3 years and 2 months ago when ChatGPT and generative AI was introduced to the world. And as you know, the progress has been so quick ever since. And that's our mission, to make sure that you, our customers, are able to utilize generative AI, Copilot, agentic AI, and digital employees to the max. And basically our own vision is that we want to help the whole MEA region to become the leader in AI usage in work and in your free time. And we are working with the largest organizations. We are working with several governments. We are working with schools. We are working with all the players who make AI happen and who are like enthusiastic about utilizing AI to the max and becoming frontier firms, which means that you are AI native. Just a couple of words about the company for those who are not familiar with Sulava in the MEA. So we started in the UAE, where we are headquartered in the Dubai back in 2020. And now we have 7 locations across the region. So basically we have now offices in addition to Dubai, in Abu Dhabi. We have our amazing Cairo office in Egypt. We have our office in Doha in Qatar. And we are just getting started in Kuwait City. And we are active in Muscat. And of course we have the Riyadh office in Saudis. And our goal is to be the leading Copilot upskilling partner at unmatched scale, meaning that we can transform entire organizations, whether you have 500 employees or whether you have 100,000 employees. We can take you to the frontier firm journey to make sure that you can actually utilize AI in anything and everything you do. And we were super proud to be chosen as the #1 Microsoft Copilot and agent partner in the world 2 months ago. That was a huge achievement. It was actually the first time ever a MEA-based company has won a global Microsoft award, and we won it in the most important category. Just to tell you a little bit about the competition there, we were finalists last year, so we were in the top 4. None of the other finalists were able to make it in the top 4 this year, but we were able to make it again, and this time we won the whole category, meaning that we are literally the best Copilot and agent partner in the world. Of course, we have won several other awards around security, governance, compliance, and so on. And we are proud to say that we definitely have the most skilled team in the region with 10 MVPs and amazing people who are working with Copilot. And we are completely and entirely focusing on the Microsoft AI stack, the AI business solution stack. And of course, Emma will be telling you a lot more about our Frontier FM live service. As I mentioned, it's the first and only subscription service with a monthly fee that will take care of everything related to your Frontier FM journey. And of course, the numbers, they kind of speak for themselves. We have trained actually almost 400,000 people by today on generative AI, Copilot, and agentic AI. We have built well over 5,000 use cases for our customers. We have held thousands and thousands of Copilot training events, and we already have almost 300 Copilot customers in the region, which is of course by far the highest number in the region. And I'm happy to say that this is according to a very recent Microsoft research that was published in Financial Times also 2 days ago, that the United Arab Emirates is actually leading the world in AI usage. And I have been lucky to be in these places before, because when we started our journey in Finland and in Europe, Sulava Finland made sure that Finland was leading cloud adoption in the world back then, 2010, 2012, and so on. We did it again with Teams adoption. So Finland was leading the Teams adoption rates in Finland, and they were the global #1 percent-wise. And then when the COVID came, Finland was leading remote work. They were the quickest one to move to remote work. And now we are completely focusing on the MEA region, being headquartered in the UAE. And now UAE is leading the world in AI usage. But as you can see, still even the UAE being the leader, it's only 6 people out of 10 who are utilizing generative AI. And this doesn't even mean that they are using it in their work. They could be using it in their free time only. But still, we have to get to 100%. And of course, there are many, many countries in the region that are not on the chart at all, or who are not where they are supposed to be. So there's a lot to be done. And that's the reason why we are here. That's the reason why Sulava MEA exists, that we will help you and make sure you get to that 100% inside your own organization. And the question nowadays is about the real business benefits from the AI, because the first year, 2003, 2004, even 2005, they were like people getting started with generative AI, but now it's all about getting the real business benefits. And of course, we all know that Copilot and generative AI and agentic AI, they do give you a significant productivity boost. That can be 20%, it can be 100%, it can be even more. But still, we are talking about nowadays value that you can actually see on your P&L, that your CFO will approve. And basically, it means that your people with generative AI in place, with Copilot in place, they can focus on the things that they were hired to do. Because none of us was hired to write emails or read emails. None of us was hired to sit in the meetings or create or read reports. No one was hired to approve like expensive bills or anything like that. Those are just things we have to do because there's no one else to do it. But now we can like outsource those busy work things to AI agents and digital employees, and we can focus on what really matters, and that means innovation, leading people, generating new top-line revenue, improving your processes and ways of working. And our customers, they are actually seeing this already, and this is something that we measure every single day at every single customer. And it does mean much lower operating cost. It does mean faster execution. It definitely means shorter cycle times across all the services, whether it's sales, whether it's legal, whether it's finance, whether it's human resources. And it means higher throughput by the same head count. So you can scale your business faster without having to hire so many human employees. It does definitely mean improved quality. It means better decisions. And actually, nowadays, even the security Copilot is included in the Copilot licensing. It means that we can make your security posture so much stronger, making sure that your organization stays protected against external and internal threats. So you have your cybersecurity governance and compliance at place, and that's super important, especially given the agentic AI and digital employees. Let me show you one quick example because we have been designing and building digital employees for the past 10 weeks or something like that. This is very new because usually the use cases, they start around like personal productivity, then they move on to team productivity, then they move forward to automation through agentic AI. But the natural next step will be for every organization in the world digital employees, and the sooner you get there the better. I will show you, this is like 1 minute demo of one of our internal tools. It's a pitch agent, so all the Sulava MEA employees, whenever they have a customer meeting, they can practice the meeting against the digital version of the customer, and here you can see it in action. So you get the idea. So this is just a very simple internal tool, and it was built literally in 17 minutes. So basically, those are so easy to build nowadays. But this is just a starting point because very soon you can actually bring these digital employees to meetings. So they can actually participate in the meetings. They can be legal experts, they can be human resources experts, they can be subject matter experts, and so on. So you can start a chat with them, you can include them in the meetings. Of course, they can also like coach innovation sessions, they can participate in sessions. They are always happy, they are never tired, they work with you 24/7. But also they can start things on their own. They can invite you to meetings. They can host webinars. They can start processes whenever you, for example, receive a new RFP in email. They can start working on it and analyzing it and writing to us where they can help you all the way along the so they actually participate in every process like human employees do, doing the busy work so we can focus on the innovation and more important things. And you can have them validating your sales pipeline. They can be your legal assistant, they can be your trainers, they can be your coaches, and they can do almost anything. First of our customers, they have already built the onboarding digital employees that will take care of a new human employee from the day one until he or he retires. And virtually, it's only your mind that is limiting nowadays the innovation. The technology is almost there. The Agent 365 is the control plane for these employees. It was introduced already 2 months ago. But the technology is still in the making at Microsoft Redmond. But every one of you should be building the use cases around the digital employees already. Because within 12 months, every organization in the world should have and must have digital employees working along us humans and working for us humans. And it also means that everyone will actually become an agent boss. Microsoft already introduced this concept like 8 months ago, but now it's happening, now it's becoming real, and we have to train the human employees to be able to be the agent bosses. So this is a very, very interesting concept, and this is going to be one of the biggest things in the calendar year 26. And all of you, all of our customers, the first question is always that, can you bring us use cases? Yes, we can. But basically, your use cases should be unique. They should be all about you. And the idea is that they are the biggest competitive advantage you have. This should be tied to your organizations, your current and future processes, your metrics, your business KPIs, your ambition, your growth plans. And as part of the Frontier Firm Live, we have this framework where we can automate the use case collection, where we can actually use them to fuel our agent factory and so on. So we map your business scenarios together. We define the KPIs. We identify the high value entry points. And then we do the real deal, real like discovery and make sure that it's actually implementable. And then we start like implementing the use case. And of course, in the right lower corner, you can see an example. We built 200 agents for one of our customers in matter of 1 month. So you can actually realize those use cases pretty quickly. But that is just the starting point, because we want to measure the agentic AI like we measure everything. So of course we want to make sure that the agents are actually doing what they are supposed to be doing. So we have these automated AI evaluation loops where we constantly monitor how the agents and digital employees are performing. And of course, human validation it's the key to everyone, because as humans we are still in control. We have to be in control, and at the end of the day we are still responsible for everything and anything the agents and digital employees do. So we want to make sure that they are doing the right things, and we want to make sure that the business impact is there. And this is always the starting point for any use case. If it's working, we want to make the use case better. If it's not working, we have to rethink the use case. So basically, you cannot think the use cases as one of thing. They are just starting point, and then you keep on evaluating them and making them better until they are spot on perfect, and then you come up with something entirely new. And this is a thing that many of our customers are starting to understand. The AI, it's not a project, it's part of your business model. And for some of our customers, it's already the business model. It's integrated completely and entirely to your business model and whatever your organization does. And that's when you can call yourself a frontier firm. And AI, as you know, it moves so quickly. For example, if I take a look at my teams, it's completely different to your teams because the user interface, I'm using a beta version of Teams. I have many functionalities that you don't yet have, but you will have them within 2 weeks or 2 months. And this creates a whole new level of how we train the users, how we do the adoption and change management. But it also gives you a super important competitive advantage if you are able to utilize all the newest innovation as quickly as possible and optimize it for your business and organization. But that was like my introduction, and if you need to remember something, remember the digital employees, and you should start onboarding and training them through use cases as of today. Thank you one more time for joining, and now I'm gonna head it over to Serena.
Thank you so much, Aki. And that was really great. Did you ever imagine speaking about being an agent boss? I know for a lot of people that is a whole new concept, and we're very much excited for it in the years to come. So, hi everybody. My name is Shirina Randini, and I'm an AI Skillings lead here at Sulava. And I'm actually going to dive in a little bit more on digital employees. Aki just really gave us a great snapshot of all the capabilities, especially looking at the demo there. But let's just take it a little bit back. So, for some of you, maybe you're hearing some concepts for the first time. So, I'm just going to share that journey with you, and then we're going to go further on with Vesa, who's going to do a real life demo. So, digital employees are at the core of frontier firms. We're entering a new phase of work and where employees are no longer considered just to be human. Exactly what Aki said, right? So, frontier firms are building teams where digital employees are actually going to work alongside people. They're going to handle tasks and decisions and processes in real time. But first, we need to figure out why do frontier firms need digital employees? But maybe we actually need to take a step back and think, well, how do we really define frontier firms? As Aki mentioned before, they're organizations that place AI and digital employees at the core of how things get done, not at the edges, right? So they're not just using tools or digital solutions as tools, but actually focusing on building a workforce where humans and digital employees get to work together. So while employees focus on judgment, creativity, and strategy, as Aki said, we're not just focusing on doing the typical boring things, and digital employees can handle the execution and repetition parts. So why is there going to be a really good need for digital employees? Well, we're moving from tools to teammates. And what exactly do I mean by this? Well, tools are exactly the softwares that we use every day, waiting for instructions, while digital teammates are actually going to focus on teammates are actually going to focus on being the digital employees and take initiative. So frontier firms need digital employees because of the nature of the work itself. It's totally changed. The game has definitely changed. The volume of work is growing rapidly, faster than ever, and human capacity is not. And at the same time, employees are still being overwhelmed with the same administrative tasks. So this pulls human talent away from work that truly matters. And speed is everything, especially in a time like right now, where competitive advantage is key and we really need to make decisions faster. So we ourselves are witnesses to this pivotal change, especially with AI constantly changing every day, and that impacts how we work. We're entering a new era, one defined by a new generation of autonomous agents. In fact, actually, the International Data Corporation and Microsoft predict that there'll be around 1.3 billion AI agents by 2028. So this scale demands not just innovation, but control, trust, and governance, which Aki actually just showed a moment ago. And where these pressures come together, we need to have frontier firms to adopt, not just in AI tools, but actually thinking how to redesign work by using digital employees. So digital employees are basically AI that can automate and scale work in the whole organization without increasing headcounts. They sit at the core of operations and not at the background. So they operate across systems and handle ongoing tasks and support outcomes and business to end to end. They are not supposed to, and don't be afraid, they're not going to replace humans, right? Digital employees don't own strategies, they don't own judgments, values, or accountability. Those still remain as human responsibilities. And underneath all of this model, we're still going to have agents. They're still going to be there to execute specific tasks and accelerate decisions when needed. And we're still going to really need M365 Copilot and Copilot Chat because that's still going to support individual employees with their AI-driven insight for their everyday and daily work. So together, this is how frontier firms will redesign work, humans will lead, and digital employees will make scaling possible. The frontier firm wins not because of AI alone, but because of how humans and AI will collaborate. So if digital employees are becoming the core members of workforce, the next logical question is, how are we going to manage them? How are we going to deploy them responsibly? How are we going to make sure they work across the organization? This is where Agent 365 comes in. It's the natural next step. Agent 365 is Microsoft vision for managing, orchestrating, and scaling digital employees across all organizations. So I will actually let our MVP, M365 MVP, and AI principal consultant, Vesa, actually explain more of that.
Thank you, Serena. And it's quite awesome, I have to say. The prediction of 1.3 billion agents and digital employees in 2 years. So it's going to be a lot of things to manage for IT, right? So let's get going. My name is Vesa Nopanen, and hey, everybody calls me Vesku. I'm a principal consultant for future work here at Sulava MEA, and I'm also an AI and Microsoft 365 MVP. And my section is more about Agent 365, as told by Serena, and hopefully a bit of time for Copilot in action in demos. But just a couple of things about the Agent 365, the control plane for agents. So, as you can already imagine why this is needed, there's going to be a new governance challenge. And you as organizations, you will need help. Okay, how we are going to be accelerating AI innovation without increasing risks. So how do you govern all this? And with 1.3 billion agents coming in a couple of years, it's a lot of things to govern. So Agent 365 is the service that's going to help you to do that. How do you manage and trust all those AI agents? So the same way we are managing our people and other devices as well. So that's one of the key reasons why Agent 365 is there. And so as the Agent 365 is the control plane or a hub for AI agents in Microsoft 365, so this is more like an IT tool, of course. How do you govern your AI assistants? So you need to have a scale. Hey, 1.3 billion agents overall, not in every company. So you have to think about, okay, well, what are my agents? What kind of inventory I have? What kind of policies I'm going to be setting? How do I monitor them? And then where do I can find that information? And lastly, of course, it's being built to Microsoft 365. So it's extending Microsoft 365 identity, security, and compliance tools. So we can govern all this for these agents. So each agent is having already basically an agent ID. They have their own item in Entra. And then you can utilize solutions like Microsoft Defender and Purview to upload to the agent. So just like you are working with users. And so this is a very, very important and kind of a part on the governance. Of course, Agent 365 will be something more regarding the digital employees and everything else in the future as well. So you will be able to utilize that to apply a lot of policies to these agents and think about, okay, what kind of permissions we are giving and so forth. So there's going to be a very interesting key capabilities. Of course, the first one is that the inventory. So we have a unified registry of about all the agents we have in our organization. So the IT has finally a way to see, okay, what kind of agents I have, who's responsible of that agent or who has created that, what kind of data sources it has, how many AI agents we have, and so on. And the access control is something I already kind of hinted that Agent 365 will be able to enable that access control for all the agents because every agent will have an identity. So they are just like people. So you will be able to start think about, okay, what kind of permissions or specific permissions the agent needs. We need to apply conditional access rules perhaps there. Okay, how it's going to work and so on. So we will have a much more control about permissions and how these agents work. But very important is, of course, the monitoring part, the visualization. Okay, what kind of agents we have and then how we can monitor and look after those. And of course, we want to know about the security and compliance part. I already mentioned the Defender, Purview, and just think about adding data loss prevention to the agents. So to the apply to content the agent generate or accesses. and so on. There's a lot of things there, audit trails, so you will be able to kind of monitor what these agents are doing. And we're talking about the IT perspective here. But I'm not going to go a deep dive on what is Agent 365. But what I'm going to do next is to show you what's available for Agent 365. And perhaps we will have time to look at a couple of other demos as well. So what we have here is the admin view. Of course, we are admins here and looking at the Agent 365 overview. Let's zoom in a bit so we can see there. We can see that we have in our demo environment, we have 470 agents. That's a nice number. And we don't have that many users. But we also see, okay, how many of these have been created by our organization. So there's 312 that we have created. And from Microsoft and the third-party agents, there's 150 plus agents there. But then we can also see, as a summary, these hero cards are really good for that. Hey, we have almost 300 agents that have been built with Copilot Studio Lite. There's still the old name, the agent builder is there. So it's going to stick around for a while. Then we have some other agents, third party and so on. But we have 32 agents from Copilot Studio and a few SharePoint agents and so on. And we can then see some active usage over agents over time there. And we can also see some top actions. Perhaps there's publish requests. We would be seeing them here. Hey, do I want to allow this agent to everyone in the organization, for example? Or perhaps there's going to be there will be some onerous agents as well. And this is a quick way to kind of just, hey, let's assign a new owner for the agent. So even this overview here will give admins a kind of a good starting point. This is now in Frontier. So if you haven't enabled Frontier features in your tenant, or if you don't have Copilot licenses, of course, then you are not seeing this. But once you enable it, you can already start using it. And from the navigation, we can see that we have all the agents. Okay, we get into the registry, our inventory. There's 470 agents, and we can just dive into that if we want. And the list will populate in a few moments. It's just reading it out. There, we have plenty of agents. But I really like the map view, the Frontier view. So, kind of a Frontier feature here. We can see it more visually. Okay, what kind of agents we have? If we want to, we can see, okay, we have a few SharePoint agents there. We could be zooming in. We have agents that have been created in Copilot Studio. There's a lot of names there, of course. And if we click something out, like the treasure guide, if you were at Chidex visiting our booth, you might have played this treasure guide. And in there, I already have tools, okay. We didn't really give a good description for the agent, but you can see, okay, who was the owner who created this, who published this agent, what kind of data it is using. So we can check out, okay, this was a treasure hunt. It doesn't have any data. It was just the instructions. And then we could see about if we want to get into more details in Purview, for example, we have direct links there. And we can very easily discover these agents. Of course, we could be checking out, okay, what kind of agents there are from Microsoft, like Workforce Insight, and what kind of information we have about those if we want to take a look at those. So we see it's Microsoft, we have the descriptions, we can see where it's been deployed. I could just select it, so it can be assigned to entire organization and just update if I want to. Or if we are making it available for everyone, of course we are. And seeing also the data, and it can use the code interpreter, and it might have some actions there as well. So we can see, okay, what kind of API endpoints it's using. So it's going for the substrate office. So these are kind of tools we can very easily use and utilize from the Agent 365. We can even pin this for all the users. And But of course, we have our most agents. We can see we have now 168 visible on this view with the agent builder. So let's go to the top there. I should have. I picked a couple of those, like a risk awareness coach. We can see, okay, who created that in case in case the account doesn't exist anymore. We could just assign a new owner for this one if I need to take control. And we can see, okay, this agent has access to, can read public sites and SharePoint sites, Teams messages, emails, meetings. So it has access to everything, and it can even use the code interpreter to generate documents, understand, analyze Excel files, and generate images using user prompts. So that this is quite good, and it still have more knowledge, but no actions. So this is how we can start to dive into different agents in a very visual, very easy way. If we want, there's also the third-party agents. But we can also check it through this. So if something has been published to my organization or shared by the creator, so this is basically Agent Builder and Copilot Studio. So something has been shared here or availability where we are going to be using these, and what's the platform that was used to build it, or what kind of embedded knowledge it has. Embedded knowledge, let's see only those agents. So we have a lot of options here, and when it comes to the managing, and this is just the same screen here. So let me just discover one, use the search to find one agent, and when I click it open, we have the same screen. So we can use whichever view we want for this one. We can see the requests here. Of course, we don't have any. The front page was empty. And we can go for catalog, and okay, let's just remove this search, and we can start seeing perhaps some of the agents. And yes, there's nothing there. Good. Then built by Microsoft. For example, if we want to share this learning to everybody, we can just go to add, and you can already see the dialog there. If we want to start making it available, and we have a deploy button where we can deploy the agent. So we have quite a nice amount of control here. But also we can jump to tools, see the MCP tools if we want to disable some of these for some reason, that's possible. And we have access to different settings, what kind of agent types are allowed in here in the organization. The agent settings are here now. What kind of sharing settings, templates. You will be seeing about the templates and more about these policies here. There's just a default at this point. So we can see, okay, there's the agent one, but on the licenses, but here we have different policies that have been set to this template. So pay attention to this, because you will be seeing more about this, what's happening. So stay tuned, so to say. So this is a very brief overview about what the Agent 365 can do today. But you can expect it to expand as we are starting to assign Agent 365 licenses to our agents. We will have those controls on managing these agents just like users. And it includes your custom agents as well. And just for a kind of a small, a bit fun part there, did you know that in the researcher you can enable computer use? So this allows this agent to use computer. And what it does, I have a kind of a prompt here, collect the last 10 Copilot end user related messages from the admin center. So there's the message center with messages and create a captivating news post. Okay, let's see if it does that. But this site is behind you have to authenticate to the site. I can't get to the message center, or the agent won't be able to get there. So you can go ahead and browse just sites, or agent can go through different sites, click link, fill up forms and extract information from the sites in a very visual way that don't require authentication. But also, there's the option that you can use authentication to log in to your backend, for example. I'm just using the admin center here, but think about you have your legacy system or your external system where you have company business data, and you would like an agent to extract some of the information. So it's going to take let's see how long it's going to take this time before it asks for the login. But it's going to load the page, notice that there's a need for a login, and then it's going to tell me that I need to take control. I can log in and then give the control back to the agent so it can go ahead and start doing what it's doing there. Okay, so it's going to say there now take control. So let's load the desktop. This is the part, of course, where you have to be present. But afterwards, when I have logged in and returned to control, I don't really have to be there. The agent can just do things on its own. Let's allow the that one. I'm going to have to put my password and just log in. So you don't want to have an admin site without at least some kind of a MFA there. But it's not too difficult. So now I'm logged in and it will load the message center. So this would be your backend system. Perhaps you have reports, you have some information. I have logged in, it's loaded. I'm just going to click return control. And now it's going to continue and start going through there. To save time, of course, we are not want to do this. I have the previous run here. So we can see what it did. So I have the same prompt here, and it's going to tell me as a researcher, tell me what it did, but we are interested about these parts because it's computing the article, and it's telling there's the voice activated Hey Copilot on Windows starting early 20 on this month, and we can see it takes the screenshot of what's relevant there to give you the idea. So I have the screenshot about that post, smart slide text generation to PowerPoint, natural language SharePoint list creation, and okay, that's an interesting screenshot. And video overviews are coming for Copilot notebooks very soon, and so on. So it's going through, clicking around there and seeing what's necessary. Then the other one I did, just as a short example there, is that I was just using Discover flights from Helsinki to Dubai using the Skyscanner site and giving some idea. So what this time I didn't have to log in, but it just went there and started to go through the site, putting my dates, putting my depart and destination airports, and discovering the information. So this is what the computer use can do. It's actually using the computer instead of you. This is something agents can do already today. So if you think about this is nice, then hey, go and try that computer use in the researcher agent. I don't think I have time for any other cool demos this time, but we'll just stick on those couple ones, and let me start sharing our presentation back so we can continue there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those, and hope perhaps there was something new there as well. And now, Emma, are you ready?
I am more than ready. Thank you, Vesa, so much for those demos. You are the best person for doing demos, so I hope everyone really enjoyed those. Good evening, or whatever time you have. I'm Emma Klen, the Chief Innovation Officer in Sulava MEA, and I've been working around our Frontier Firm Live service a lot, and the similar service before in Europe. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I can already see in chat that Sulava subscription service is already there in the conversation. So I'm going to really quickly explain you what this is all about. First of all, when you talk about frontier firms, that term frontier firm might not be familiar to all of us, but that's what we mean when organizations are really adapting AI into their everyday lives, and not only adapting, but actually changing the way they work and changing their business models onto the AI era. And the service that we have been created, what we created to make sure that everything what we just saw, which was a small little portion of all of that, so that it's as easy as possible to actually starting to adapt and transforming your business to AI era with the Microsoft products. I'm going to quickly show you what our service, what is called Frontier Firm Live, includes. And I'm going to start with giving you an example what real AI transformation needs. I've been working with AI transformation ever since it started. So I was also doing a lot of Copilot trainings when the product came, and I must say it's totally different world now. I can see Aki smiling, and Vesco and others that I have been the pleasure of working with. So we were excited in November 2023, and now when we look at what we had January 2026, it's totally different and totally amazing. I had the pleasure of coaching thousands and thousands and thousands of people also in the past 2 years here in the Middle East and Africa region, especially in UAE. And this is what we need. This is what I know we need really in every organization, no matter what the industry is, no matter what the size of the organization is. If you really want to transform to AI era, this is what you need. You need to have the strategy for that, and you need to align the strategy with your overall strategy in your company. In companies, you only need to have one strategy, and AI needs to be part of it. You need to make sure you do the innovation work, and then skilling is in the core, is a huge part of it, because we need to skill people. We need to skill technical people and business users and all of them. And we really need to make sure the change management part is there. And maybe change management is a little bit old wording to this. What we like to call it is full transformation, because that's what it is in individual level, in team level, and organizational level. And obviously, behind all of this, we need to make sure that everything from the technology and security side is in place, and it needs to be placed all the time. Because as we can see, Microsoft really brings these new things kind of quickly to the market, which means that also from the technology and security side, everything needs to be on the place all the time. And the cool part here, what we saw today, is the agentic AI and digital workforce. That's the new thing. When we started to do AI transformation with Copilots, we didn't even have agents. And now we are entering the era with the digital workforce. And you can only imagine how much work this is to first understand what these things are, and then build them to the actual need, and then teach people how to become agent bosses, and tell people how to work with digital employees, right? It's not something that we just realize when we wake up some morning that, hey, by the way, I have 10 new digital colleagues here. You need to change yourself to actually make the benefits out of it. And everything needs to be run in a central point that we call service and program management, which is the nerve center of the AI transformation. And this all needs to happen together. Not in layers, not separately, but together, which why we build this service that in the core we have the nerve center for everything, and we bring everything in those portions that is your organization phase today, in which phase you are today, where do you want to be next month, what about in 6 months, what about next year? So let's bring in now digital workforce, or let's start with skilling and enablement, and then continue to this. So everything needs to happen together. And I'm going to be really honest here. It's a lot of work. And I'm sure everyone in this webinar, my dear colleagues, and every customer that I have pleasure to work with in oil and energy and aviation and healthcare and other industries, they know that it's always the same. It's a lot of work. And 95% of it, it's human work. It is human work to go to the departments and go to the teams and understand where is your bottlenecks, where is your problems, what we can do so that you can unleash your human creativity, right? We want to use our brains for those things that they are capable of. We don't want to use our brains to be the robots. That's why we need to have plans how to do these things. And we've been learning and we've been doing a lot of mistakes. But I must say, I'm proud to say that we are the best in the world right now doing the adoption with Copilot and agents and digital employees, which why we want to bring this into our service. And we are always giving the best recommendations of what not to do also with the cool part. And as we can see here, for example, the agent factory, someone mentioned that in the chat also. It sounds cool, it's fun, but in what phase we should bring it in? Well, in my opinion, as soon as possible, because you don't have to wait to get this cool thing started, but everything needs to be planned and it needs to be aligned with your business goals and objectives for the organization and for the well-being of people. So I think this is something that Aki already showed. For example, the agent hub that we are building. This is one element inside our service. If we take a look at the service, we have agenting at digital workforce here. It's in our plan, but what actually happens when we take one element out of the service, and if we selected that now we bring into the subscription service the agent hub? Okay, let's start to go to the people. Let's start to look at the process. Let's start to see what kind of agents we need to build. And then we create your agent hub. It's not something that is general to everyone. Of course, we have a lot of learnings and ready-made models. But designing, for example, agent for marketing is different for other company than for other companies. Some other companies need information and data from other data points than others. So it's not about giving you the ready-made use case. The best use cases come when we do a little bit of innovation work and sometimes a little bit more. And then we actually give you use cases that are designed to your business. As said, it's a lot of work, but something that is really in core of it I want to highlight is upskilling and continuous upskilling. Not something that, hey, today I went to this training, great, we are happy to have you here, but I'm sorry to tell you that you need to learn every day. I need to, Aki need to, as well as Serena and Vesa. We all need to learn something new every day, and this is not one-time thing or investment. We need to do this, and we need to open to do this all the time and upskill. If you think you are a hardcore user of Copilot, how many agents have you created? How many agents are helping you with your everyday work? Or how many digital employees you work with? So, and this is not stopping. It continues from here to eternity. So let's just drop the facts here so that we don't get too excited about something is ready at some point. Okay, this is what we need to make AI transformation happen. As we can see, we have all the great parts in our subscription service here, what we bring, but we also need to have a lot of things from our customer side. And with our best and most innovative customers, they have everything on place, what we can see here. So first of all, we have the AI sponsor, the high-level executive, senior vice president, or even CEO who is sponsoring this transformation and actually attending and understanding what is happening. We need to have the customer digital employees, like, okay, who are they going to be? Which will be the first 10 ones, the 100 ones? And then we have the human employees. Okay, you are going to have new colleagues which are digital. You are going to become an agent boss. What that mean? What do you need to learn? And so on. Maybe you have a totally new role in your organization after you start to use AI. We need to have a steering committee because when we do company-wide adoptions, let's say for 40,000 or 100,000 people, and those are the scale that we are doing this for our customers, you need to have from every business unit the decision makers there to understand while we go the results, like, hey, these are the use cases we found, let's prioritize those, let's make them happen. This is the ROI now, this is the ROI next month, these are the active usage, and make decisions, not only listening, but making active decisions for tomorrow and next week. And we need to have someone, or when it's a wide transformation in a wide organization, we need to have the change lead who actually owns this. And typically it's best, and I'm sorry for all of you IT people here, I really love you, but it's best not to be an IT person. I'm going to be honest here as well, because this is not a technical thing. This is human change, and it's good that if we have someone, from example, from human resources there. And the AI leaders. So before, when we were doing a lot of Teams adoptions and modern work stuff, we were always talking about champions networks. Well, what is even more important at the AI era is that we actually create AI leaders. We create at every leadership level, we create leaders that understands AI and human. It's not only understanding the AI, but understanding AI and humans together, and understanding the pain and frustrations and everything that people are facing. So we are going to give you AI leaders, and we are going to coach you leaders to become AI leaders, which is one important part of the service. Well, when we think about subscription service, it means subscription. So it has a price, like you have a Netflix subscription or whatever service you have, as well as do our service. What we have realized already 2-3 years ago, that this is something that you can do as a project. So this is an operating model. You are paying a monthly price. After that, everything is included at that level your organization needs. And if you need any more information about the pricing and everything, we are going to give you now the possibility to give us feedback, and you are more than welcome to give us messages at any time so that we can actually guide you through this. But that's about the commercial part of it. I'm going to also give you a few highlights what's going to happen next. First of all, visit our website for more information, sulavamea.com. Please follow us on LinkedIn if you want to learn more. And I'm really much highlighting you to follow these people, my colleagues here, because they are all sharing a lot of new tips and tricks and updates, what is coming. So I think we have 4 minutes, so we are not overtime, which is good because we all like you to speak. But is there any questions at this point you would like to highlight, Serena, Vesa, Aki, from the chat?
Really great, Emma. I just want to say that we have a few questions on the sales part, but I know we're kind of lacking on time. But one of the questions is, can we have discounts if we're doing quarterly, yearly subscriptions? Yeah, I'll let you answer that, Emma.
Yeah, of course. So if you are committing to this service for 12 months, because that's typically how we design, it's 12 months, and we do 3 cycles within that 12 months. Of course, there will be discount. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to read the previous questions, and I think Aki has been answering them quite diligently in the chat. So really, really positive. For those who want to know more, just contact us. Visit our website. We have access to our sales teams as well, who can really have a talk with you and go more deeper into the service that we provide. For those who are in different parts of the world, if you're in Riyadh, visit us. We're going to be there in the Microsoft AI Tour, February 11th. It's very close. And for those who've been really excited to be part with us, we do have another webinar in May. Just tune in, join in, and hear again more about agents, within 3 months. I know there's going to be a lot of new development. So really excited to see you again in the next few months as well.
Yeah, we are more than happy to welcome you to the next webinar, so you can already give your feedback. And if you have something you would very much like to hear in the next webinar, please share those as part of the feedback as well. And register, put that on your calendar. You can share the link to your colleagues and friends and invite everyone, because we are more than happy to share the best outcomes that we have been learned with the hundreds of customers that we have the possibility to work with it within the past 3 years. I think we are done. I think we can look at the chat a couple of more minutes after 7 p.m. at Dubai time, where we live. But before we go there, again, more than welcome to follow our company Sulava MEA on LinkedIn and all of us. And if you want to hear more topics around this, we are all pretty active there. So more than happy to connect with you also. With that, thank you from our behalf, and back to Aki for the closing words.
Well, thank you so much. Basically, I think I'm just going to say thank you to all of our presenters, and thank you to the wonderful audience, and thank you especially for all the amazing questions. And looking forward to seeing you live or in Teams meetings or in our next webinars or on LinkedIn or wherever. Thank you everyone so much for joining, and have a wonderful evening.